Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we are going to draw this cute Christmas cupcake, but first I'm going to explain a little bit about the brand new color code system from Ohuhu. Ohuhu is sponsoring this video today, and here's a look at their color code page on their website, which I will link down below. Now this first graphic explains how you use new color code system. We're going to get into that a little bit more coming up here and what the numbers and letters mean. And then if you've got the old markers and you're not sure what the new number would be, you can just type in an old Ohuhu marker number from any of your ranges, and then it will pop up the old version numbers and also the new numbers. So what they're doing is they are giving a single color code for all of their ranges. Their Honolulu, their Oahu, their Kala. That way you don't have to guess and you don't have to deal with different markers and different reinkers. They're all going to be streamlined, which is awesome. Now you can also look at the older color charts too and see the old and new numbers. So you've got the old number in a tiny font and the new number in a big font right above it. And then what I think is the best thing about this is the cap stickers. So I always love a real swatch. It's always more accurate than the plastic chip on the end of a marker. So here they've actually made printable color swatches. I like to print mine out on sticker paper, color them with the markers, and then pop them right on the end of my markers. It makes for a really accurate swatch, and that way if you have the older markers, you can have the new numbers and you don't have to miss out on anything. Now if you don't have a printer, you don't want to deal with it, you can also purchase the digital cap stickers for free. They're blank and you stick them on your marker and you can write the new number down. So whatever works for you is what you can do. If you're purchasing a new set of Ohuhu markers, you're going to see that the color swatches look much more cohesive. The colors that will blend together are going to be right next to each other on the swatch itself, so that makes it really easy. You can see I've pulled up my reference photo on my phone, and I'm looking at the colors that I think will look really nice. And I'm looking at these greens that have kind of a minty undertone, and I'm arranging them all on the edge of my scrap paper there so I can swatch them out and see what we got. And this will help explain how the color system goes. Let's look closely at the color system. Here we have a color family of G. That's our letter here. G is for green. Then our first digit is 3. So we are in the G3 color family or blending group. And then after the 3, our final digit or 2 digits will be how light or dark the color is, or the value. So the G3-4 is going to be really light, whereas the G3-16 is going to be the darkest color we have. So color family is green. Our blending group is 3. That's our undertone. It's that kind of pretty minty green color there. And then our numbers gradiate from light to dark. And that's how we can see where we're going to get our relationship between these colors. So let's do a little bit of mixing, because I think mixing and blending is how we really want to use these markers. We want to have some pretty colors in our frosting, so let's start with our G310. Okay, it's kind of, it's 3 notches down. That's going to be our dark color in this blend. Now let's go a step lighter. Let's go to the G36, and I can color over the 10 and blend it out a bit. And then I can lighten it even further by going with the G3-4 and just blend that out. Now I could go darker. I could pull one of those darker colors in if I wanted to. I could even add some clear blending at the end and lighten it more if I wanted to. But that gives us a really great place to start. That seems easy enough, huh? Let's try it again with some reds. Again, I'm going to start with colors that are all in the red family or the R family. The first digit after the R is 0. So I know if I choose colors that start with R0, they're going to be in the same color family. And then I chose colors that were 1 digit away from each other in the value range. So 12 being my lightest value of this range and 16 being my darkest. So remember, keep the first 2 digits the same, or the letters and the first number the same, and then keep the final number or numbers close together. So starting off with my lightest tone, because red's a tricky color, so I like to go dark or light to dark when I'm doing tricky colors. I start with my RO12, then I layer up some RO13 in the midtones, and then RO14 in the shadow. Then I'm going to go back in with the RO13 and overlap the RO14 to blend those two together. And then finally, I'm going to go in with the RO12, my lightest tone, to smooth out any sort of ridges that we have in this blending. Now this looks pretty good. It looks pretty smooth, and but it's not very dynamic because the colors are pretty close together. So I'm going to jump in with a little RO16, that nice deep cherry red, and add that over my darkest area, just in the bottom. I'm not covering over the whole darkest third, but just in the bottom there. Then I'm going to go over with my RO14, kind of pull it in a little bit, and then I'm going to repeat the RO13 and the RO12, and that's going to give us a beautiful blend. And because the base layer of ink was wet, all the colors want to blend together so nicely. And there you can see it dry, and those blends just look fantastic. So with that, we are ready to do some artwork. I'm starting off with an erasable colored pencil. This is a Call Erase colored pencil, and I'm sketching in this Cupcake reference. I found this reference from Pexels, and I'll put a link in the video description to it in case you want to draw along. I'm using a kind of brownish red. It's called terracotta colored pencil, and since this is erasable, I can go in and fix any mistakes or any stray lines before I'm done. One thing to note is that once you color over the colored pencil with marker, you will not be able to erase the colored pencil. So keep that in mind. If you have any lines you don't want in the middle of your sketch, you're going to want to erase those before you start going in with a colored pencil. I like to use a colored lead because it just is a little bit softer than graphite, and I feel like it just kind of absorbs into the sketch a little bit more, and then you don't really see your pencil sketch at the end. And I like to do my fine lining last if I'm going to do it, just because I feel I keep things a lot neater that way. I'm going to start in with my darkest value, this nice dark red, and put the shadows or dark reflections in on the cherry here in this composition. I'm leaving out my lighter areas so that they can I can use lighter tones there. I will go back in with a white marker and add some really bright highlights later. But I do want to get that kind of mid-tone and shadow with the markers. And also I feel like having the darkest thing on my paper first makes it a lot easier to proceed on with the drawing. There's a saying, if you're going to fail, you better fail fast, right? So get those darker tones in right off the bat. And that way if you mess up, well, you haven't spent too much time on it and it's not that big of a deal. But I think it really establishes your dark values, and then it makes it much easier to go in with your midtones and your light tones. I also put those cute little heart sprinkles in there because I just thought they looked really pretty and I couldn't wait to draw them. Now I'm going in with some brown and adding the parts of the cupcake that you can kind of see stuck to the cupcake wrapper. Since our cupcake wrapper is translucent, you can see those shadows, and the reference photo I had two cupcakes, and I just kind of slid over to the one that showed the bottom of the cupcake just so I'd have a good reference for that. And I am sneaking in a little bit of the cake top there. You can't really see it in the reference, but I wanted to have that in there. I thought it made it look a little more interesting. And now I'm overlapping with this darker tealy green color to tone the cupcake wrapper a bit, and I'm staying with those same greens that I picked out originally because I figure if I use the same color family for the wrapper and the icing, it's just going to look nicer. It's going to be more harmonious, and that's where the new Ohuhu numbering system really shines, is it takes a guesswork out of what colors are going to go with what. Now you can always swatch your markers out, and I recommend no matter what brand you have, swatching them out on the paper you typically work with, or even swatching it out on a label or sticker paper and sticking it to your markers so you have that accurate swatch. But if you're new or maybe you have a little color blindness, it can be really tough to pick some of those colors apart and know it's going to blend really well. So Ohuhu's new marker system really takes that guesswork out and makes it kind of foolproof for color blending. Another thing that I don't hear talked about much with alcohol markers is that some colors actually shift from wet to dry, and that can be very confusing when you're trying to color, especially if you've got a scrap of paper, you're swatching a color, and then you're bringing it over to your artwork and you're coloring it in, but by the time that marker dries, it's actually got a different undertone. So again, relying on the new Ohuhu marker system really helps you choose the right colors there. Usually with like purples, pinks, sometimes reds, they'll dry with a slightly different undertone, and that can be very confusing. So I kudos to Ohuhu for making this a lot more well organized and also unifying between their different lines of markers, because that was something that always bugged me, was that the numbers for the Kala or Oahu would be different than a Honolulu, and now they're all going to be brought together under one kind of umbrella system. So yeah, and I'm glad we can just print out the stickers and color them, cut them out or punch them out and stick them to our markers so we don't have to buy new sets if we want that new system. And I thought that was very thoughtful and a really nice touch because, you know, it takes a while to use up all the ink in a marker, especially if you have a lot of markers. And at the beginning where I showed you putting the stickers on my skin tone markers, that is like the old set of 24. Like they changed their numbers once within there, but I could resource the old numbers and put the new caps on them and everything is fine. They're all going to work together. But, you know, not many companies will support their older versions of their products. And I just think that's really wonderful. So what I'm doing here is going in with some of those really dark shadows on the frosting. I wasn't quite brave enough to do that right off the bat. And also, like I showed you with the red markers, if you've got some really strong contrast there, coloring it with your lighter color first and then layering up the mids and darks and then going over it with lights again is a surer way to blend those colors. It gives you a smoother blend, especially on colors that can be a little tricky. So if you're really close in color, you can go dark to light, no problem. But if you've got big jumps or you're working with colors that are tricky, you know, coloring them with a light color first and then layering up mid to darks does work a little bit better. Now, one tricky thing you can do with alcohol markers is actually use a really light color like this really pale aqua color and go in and put your highlights in because it will kind of bleach out the colors underneath. You can also do that with a clear blender. Sometimes with a clear marker though, it does over bleach it and you get these kind of patchy results, but I did it with a really pale kind of aqua color to get that, you know, really light area of the cupcake wrapper where it's not touching anything, so you can just kind of see that hazy look. So I really liked how much I've done with the alcohol markers, but I do love to mix media in my work. And this marker paper, it's actually the last sheet I have in this sketchbook, and it's the Ohuhu marker pad. It has a ton of pages. They're perforated if you do want to remove some, which I have removed some out of this book, but the book doesn't fall apart, which is really best of all worlds there. But I like that it's got enough tooth on it that I can go over it with colored pencils. And these colored pencils are the Ohuhu color pencils that they released, I think, a year ago. And they are just that perfect level of softness, but they hold a nice point, but they're opaque enough to stand up on your markers, but they're a little bit translucent so you can still see some of the colors underneath, and it just makes matching really easily. It just flows seamlessly together, and I like how all the suites of products from Ohuhu work really nicely together. So I can go in with a black colored pencil and add those really dark, crisp shadows. I can go in with a deep red and kind of bridge the gap between colors if I didn't get a great blend. It's kind of like a way to feather colors together if you didn't get the perfect blend on your first go around, which, hey, we all make mistakes, or maybe we jump around too much and don't get things blended out perfectly, or we just need to adjust. We want to adjust something, but we don't want to risk messing it up. That's where colored pencils come in really handy. And you can even lighten those colored pencils up with an eraser if you get a little too heavy-handed, or you put it down the wrong place, or the color doesn't match too well. But I've got my scrap paper handy. I can layer up the colored pencil on a marker on the scrap paper, see how it does before I bring it to my artwork. I do this technique a lot, so I typically don't have to do that, but that's something you can do if you're not quite sure how a color is going to look layered over something else. But I love the body and the realism that adding the colored pencil gives it. It just kind of brings it up a notch. You can add light over dark, which is something that's hard to do with markers because you get that unpredictable bleaching effect sometimes. So it's just a wonderful way to mix your media together so you get the best of all worlds. And I can go back in with my markers too and blend out the colored pencil because alcohol will dissolve the wax in the colored pencil and the pigment and smooth things out if you do get a kind of a rough effect or a grain of the paper you don't like. Now for my final touches, I'm going in with some of the brush tip Ohuhu markers. These are the acrylic markers rather, and I really like them because you do have to shake them. They have liquid ink, they have a lot of ink in them, and they have brush tips. So you don't need to prime them, but you do need to give them a good shake before you use them. But they've got a really pretty arrangement of colors. There's 48 out now, and I find that pretty much suits most of the color needs I have. And I find working in this method to be so enjoyable. This sketch took about an hour and it was fun the entire way through. I love that I can add sprinkles on top of this cupcake with the acrylic markers because they're opaque enough, which is just wonderful. It's great to be able to layer up on these artworks, on these alcohol marker artwork. So for me, mixing media it's twofold. It's a way to enhance your work and bring your ideas to life, but it's also a great way to layer up, fix any issues, adjust any issues, and just give you the look that you want in your artwork. And I just think having all these candy colors together are just so pretty. I decided to sprinkle some of the sprinkles onto the surface too, just to kind of give it a little cohesiveness and fill the page a little bit more. So I'm making little hearts, and I'm trying to foreshorten them, make them a little flattened out so they look like how they would be if they were laying on the table. And then just some dots for the round sprinkles. And finally, I'm using my Ohuhu liquid fine liners, which they're just a regular fine liner, except they are full of liquid ink, so you just get more for your money with them, in my opinion. And I am outlining not everything, but definitely the kind of perimeter and any of the little details that I want to have a little bit sharper. So think of the fine liner as kind of a sharpen tool. It goes in and it just gives you a crispness that you won't have if you just use the pencils and markers. And I think it's a really nice way to finish it off and make it look nice and sharp and pretty. And then if you want a super duper opaque white, I would go in with a white gel pen. It's also finer, so you can get those just little hairline highlights and details. And yeah, that's pretty much all there was to this. It was so much fun to create this. I love to paint sweets anyway, and I thought this red and green would just be perfect for Christmas. My husband saw it and he says, well, that could be for St. Patrick's Day. And I guess, well, this hearts, it could be for Valentine's Day too. So you know what? If you want to do this project, you've got months that you can paint it and you can enjoy it for months. Well, it'll still be seasonal. Anyway, I want to thank Ohuhu for sponsoring this video. Check out the link in the video description to the printable stickers and color charts. And I hope you have an amazing creative day. Until next time, happy crafting.